Well, hey there, this is Brady from ProChurchTools.com, and today I want to share with you 8 of my favorite questions to ask during a testimony or baptism video interview. And what's great about these questions is that you can just copy and paste them and use them for your next interview. Let's start with question number 1. Where did your story begin? Now, this is obviously a great starter question. It avoids the big mistake of possibly being answered yes or no. And because it's so ambiguous, it allows your interview subject to set the pace and kind of take the interview in their own direction, instead of just jumping right in and being like, so when did your drug addiction get really bad? Instead, we're asking, when did your story begin? And this question is purposefully ambiguous. The interview subject can choose where they want to begin telling their story, and this should make them more comfortable for the rest of the interview. One important note to mention here, more than an interview, we're just having a discussion with this individual. When I'm interviewing someone for the Pro Church podcast, I usually have a loose guideline of about 5 to 10 questions that I want to ask, and then we just let the rest of the conversation flow from there. So don't use these 8 questions and ask them all back to back. Allow these questions to structure your interview and be a fallback when you need to transition, but let your curiosity and the organic flow of the conversation be the real navigator in your interview. Okay, with that little side note out of the way, here's question number 2, and this question has to do with setting or location. Why is this place special? Do you have an emotional connection here? Explain. Now, whether this question is in relation to your church, your city, a place in your community, or the home that your interview subject grew up in, location and setting are always important to your story. So have this question ready when your interview subject starts talking about moving to their new city, leaving their old city, or about joining your church. Question number 3, how have you changed in the past 5 years? Now, of course, the purpose of a testimony video is to recall how God has worked in the past and share that story in the present. So give your interview subject an opportunity to talk about that change. Question number 4, how does your family feel about your role in this? And this question is either going to reveal conflict or support. Families can be a sticky subject, but they're integral in our everyday lives. And my goal with a testimony video is to put on display the real story that this person is living. And that's why I like asking a question like this. Knowing about their family is going to add another layer that's often lost in interviews like these. Question number 5, how do you see yourself? Okay, so now we're getting real deep and introspective. This question is pretty self-explanatory, but again, it gives your interview subject the opportunity to just go on a tangent and really dig deep into their own feelings and perceptions. And this isn't the type of stuff that you'd want to talk about live from stage, but it's video interview gold, because you can cut out all of the excess and keep the really great moments. Question 6, what was the pivotal moment for you? Every story needs a climax, and this question kind of hints at that. Now, to be fair, manufacturing something like this usually doesn't work. It's unlikely that you're going to ask this question and your interview subject is going to give you that perfect climactic answer that will be the highlight of their testimony video. That's unlikely, but this will probably be the first step in uncovering that moment. They might be a bit timid or unsure at first, but as you use your curiosity and dig deeper, you'll be able to find what you're looking for. Question 7, how do you feel at the end of the day? At this point, now we start to transition into reflection and tying up the loose ends of our story. I don't think you need to resolve every tension or pain, because none of our stories and none of our journeys are complete. And I think when filmmakers try to wrap everything up in a nice little package with a bow on top, it can often feel disingenuous because it's just not true. But you do want the story to have some semblance of conclusion and resolution. And this question should elicit some of that. Finally, question number 8. It's always important that you give your interview subject a chance to discuss what's on their heart. And the phrasing of this question is tremendously important. You'll notice that it assumes something was missed in the discussion. What have we not talked about? That phrasing assumes something was missed. If you ask the question in a different way, like, did we miss something? You wouldn't get nearly as many responses. They could just say yes or no. And at this point in the interview, you've been talking for the longest amount of time. Your interview subject is the most comfortable. You need to give them a chance to talk about anything that they think was missed. And truthfully, a lot of the time, this is where you get the really, really good stuff. And there you have it, 8 of my favorite questions to ask in a video interview. Now, to be clear, none of these questions are silver bullets. And through the course of an interview, some of these are gonna surely fall flat. They won't all work for every interview, but they cover a wide range of topics. They cover key moments in a story arc, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And they're great questions for structuring an interview. But remember, let your innate curiosity be the real guide of the interview, not these questions. Let your curiosity drive the storytelling, and you'll get some great footage and great story to work with. I'm Brady. Thanks for watching. We release new video training on our YouTube channel every single Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. Video like they do. Jared told me that this specific baptism video was one of his favorites, so let's take a look.